Hi guys, it's me Josa, and I'm gonna talk about search engine optimization or SEO. I chose this topic because I find it very interesting, even though it can be very hard and overwhelming because of the many aspects that you have to consider to be able to succeed in this. But I'll try my best to cover the most important things or the basic concepts that you should know to ensure that your website is optimized for search. So why the sea turtle? It has something to do with the blog that I'm going to show you later, and also depicts SEO in a way, because just as this sea turtle comes to the surface to breathe air to survive, in the same sense, our website also needs to come to the surface if we want it to survive. It means getting it out there and getting it ranked on the first page of search engine results. This is especially true if we are selling something through our website. For example, if we have an e-commerce website or if we want to monetize our website through traffic. So let's get started with the basics. So what is SEO? It means optimizing our site for search engines. It simply means the process of improving our website to increase visibility for relevant searches. But what exactly do search engines do? They are like a book's index. They scour the web. If you know about web crawlers, it's called web crawlers. They scour the web to find pages and put them in an index. They have these sophisticated algorithms which analyze pages in the index, taking into account hundreds of ranking factors to determine the order of pages that should appear in the search results for a given query. So there are a number of search engines. I know you all know. The top three are Google, Yahoo, and Bing. But can you guess who leads the market share today? Of course, it's Google. So as you can see, by all platforms, Google doesn't only lead the search engine market share worldwide, it dominates. Billions of searches are done on a daily basis, and about 90% of these searches are handled by Google. This makes them the world's largest search engine, and going forward, we would want to talk about Google and its ranking factors. So why SEO? Why is it important? SEO is important to grow your organic traffic and increase your sales if you're selling something. When a search engine returns results, it gives you two types, organic and sponsored. An organic result is an unpaid search result, hence natural search result, while a sponsored result is basically a paid advertisement. Let's take a look at this example. This is a sponsored result, and this is an organic result. This one over here ranked top 1 because it did a very good job of telling Google that their page has the most relevant information for the particular search query. In this case, it is search engine optimization. And this is what SEO is all about. To give you a better understanding of why SEO is important and how it works, or let me explain to you the elements of a typical search engine results page, or SERP. As you may have noticed during your own searches, there are many different elements on the first page depending on your query. Google decides which elements to show us that fit our query best, but all of them are broken down into these two categories, organic and sponsored. For example, when I typed in the question, what is search engine optimization? It delivers me this page. We would see that it gives us these cards at the top. Now let me explain each of them. This one is a rich result in the form of a dictionary. Rich result is a visually enhanced or an interactive search result. This one down here is the people also ask box. These are suggestions for questions that relate to the search query you typed in. And this one at the side is another rich result, which is called the knowledge graph. This may be found further in the page, but it's also up there because Google thinks it's answering the query really well. And at the bottom half of that same page, we can see the organic listings. There are typically about 10 organic results on one page. And then down here we have one more rich result in the form of videos. This search engine results page does not show any paid or sponsored result. This means that nobody paid to have their website displayed on there for these certain keywords. So knowing the difference between the two, it actually helps me make a better informed decision about the relevancy of the result, because the sponsored result is advertising. They may actually be more useful to a shopping searcher than a researcher. So how does SEO work in practice? There are two factors to consider. The first one is on-page SEO. It has something to do with your site structure, great content with relevant keywords, speed optimization, or in other words, it's within your control. The second one is off-page SEO. It has something to do with backlinking and social media attention. This is out of your control because you're relying on other people to believe that your site is worthy of a link. So to help me expound this, I think it's best if I share my personal experience with SEO. I had a food and grocery delivery business back in 2014, just here in my place, and it ran for about 5 years. I had very little knowledge about SEO and WordPress then, so what I did was I reached out to my IT friends to help me create an e-commerce website. So that's what I did first. So here is a long screenshot of that website that I found online because I don't have it anymore. And it used to have the blog tab here. And yeah. So everything on here has to do with improving my SEO. I wrote lots of blog posts on the website which talked about topics relevant to the business. Later on, when I had additional WordPress sites for blogging, I used them for backlinking, such as this one. Now this talks about motorcycles in my city, and here it is. I just linked to my business website. But you would want to link to authoritative websites, those websites that are highly ranked in Google. I also installed WordPress plugins such as social sharing plugin. This is important for SEO as well because you would want to share your blog posts to your Facebook, Twitter, or any social media platform that you have. And I also installed email marketing plugin, SEO plugin, etc. My theme actually had these built-in plugins that really helped me a lot in improving my SEO performance, especially this one. This comes at the bottom of each blog editor. Let me show you that, where you can write your SEO title, the slug, or what comes after the URL. This is the slug, and it has a meta description. It is comparable to this one. It is the same thing, the title and the description. So when it's ranked on Google, it shows like this. This is what you can see. And I also created social media accounts and reached out to people for reviews. I find it really helpful to do this, and especially if we reach out to our customers for reviews, and it builds trust from other people. And then I did SEO on each blog post, website page, and YouTube video. Blog post, I already explained this to you. I showed you the Yoast portion of the editor on WordPress. That's where I did SEO on each of my blog posts. For website page, it's the same. And for YouTube videos, it has these tags right over here. And then I actually joined a business startup competition here. So as you can see, I did both on-page SEO and off-page SEO. For example, this one right here, number 3, this one is on-page SEO, as well as number 7. Number 4 is off-page SEO. 8 and number 6 are off-page SEO, where I reached out to people. So what were the results of those efforts that I did? I ranked top 1 on the SERP for relevant keywords. I earned 5 stars on my Facebook page. I was advertised on local authoritative websites. We won the regional business startup competition. And as a result, I was invited to a local radio program that talks about local businesses. The whole thing took me a lot of time and effort, and sometimes money. But in the end, it's rewarding. It actually increased my conversion rate, or the number of visitors who actually purchased something, or ordered something, or signed up, or inquired through my website. But I'd like you to know that there are things that made me succeed in my SEO faster than the others before. It was because, number 1, there wasn't much of a competition. I was the only active food and grocery delivery service at the time, so I had the first mover advantage. That's probably why it rocketed to the top of Google right away, because the keywords related to my business didn't return a search results page that's packed with stuff. Number 2 is backlinks. I religiously reached out to people through social media, print media. I joined a competition, and of course, I provided quality service, which made people believe that we are really worthy of their trust, of their links. And of course, pages with the most backlinks rank higher in Google. Let me talk a bit about keywords, because this is important in SEO. Back then, I used single keywords, and I kind of had this rule of thumb that I should mention keywords 2% of my overall text for SEO purposes. So for example, if my article had 500 words, I would mention my keywords 10 times in the article. I don't know where I read that, but it really sounds absurd to me right now. So this one right here, keyword stuffing, and using exact match for keywords were old practices. Let me show you how it looks like. This is keyword stuffing, and if you will read the whole thing, it doesn't really make any sense. So these are the current best practices for keywords in SEO. Number 1, use keyword phrases or long tail keywords. That's 2 or more words. Number 2, you don't have to use the exact match for your keywords. Using the previous example that I showed you, the author actually wanted to match his keywords exactly. So this is not necessary, because Google has gotten smarter, and it understands our articles very well. Your keyword phrase could be used as a heading for your paragraphs, as a title of your web page, or as a slug. You can use that as your title, as your slug, and you can have it in your meta description. You can have it in your paragraph headings. So it's multi-purpose. So let's compare single keyword versus long tail keywords. Diving versus dive spots in Dumageddon, and mouse versus wireless rechargeable mouse. Which ones do you think have the greater chance to surface on the search? To help us determine long tail keywords, there's a tool for this. It's called answerthepublic.com, where they turn any questions or a single keyword into long and specific keywords. Let me show you that. So this is the website. And if I say diving, it would give me this visualization. So these are long tail keywords and you can choose from if you are writing a blog. So this last example that I'm going to show you is my recent attempt on improving SEO on one of my blog posts that I did in 2017, which was never edited, never proofed, and without images. You can say that this one is the worst blog post ever published online, and I have no clue why I published that. It ranked on the 11th page on the SERP with the keywords beautiful dive spots in Dumaguete. So it did not take the whole thing, but it took this one. And when I typed beautiful dive spots in Negros Oriental, it did not appear on the SERP. So I did some keyword research and I've learned that this phrase should not be my main keyword phrase because people usually don't type beautiful when they're looking for dive spots in an area. They usually type in dive spots in Negros Oriental or dive spots in wherever. I decided to use other keyword phrases for revising my post. This is my revised post. So I put Dumaguete instead of just Negros Oriental because I noticed that Dumaguete is largely or widely searched on Google than Negros Oriental. And I put images there and internal links. So I did this for tracking my SEO progress. This was the old main keyword phrase that I used. This one climbed up, but on day 3 it disappeared. But on day 8 it appeared, and then today it is on the same page. For the other main keywords that I used, it really didn't rank that fast. So as you can see, revising my blog post and revising it correctly helped it to get ranked on Google. I really didn't expect this to rank on Google this fast because usually SEO takes like months. I hope this is not too overwhelming, especially for first-time users. There are actually more strategies and I'll leave it up to you if you want to know more about it. You can actually try Google Analytics and Google Console. They help you with gathering data for your website such as traffic, broken links, performance, and so on and so forth. The bottom line is to focus on the user. Google has gotten pretty smart at understanding what your page is all about without you stuffing your keywords in there. Putting yourself in the user's shoes when creating content for them is really effective for SEO. And that ends my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I hope that this helps a bit. Thank you.